What is going on, my crazy 76er fanatics, guys? Thanks for stopping back in for another daily pod with your daily 76ers discourse and discussion. I want to thank all you guys for stopping in, dropping in, all the likers, all the commenters, all the watchers. All of you guys matters. Thanks for helping this channel grow, and thanks for helping the conversation continue to go. The likers, the subscribers, the watchers, the real MVPs. Speaking of MVPs and real ones, Joel Embiid is back, baby. And when I'm saying back, I'm saying better than ever if we're only considering last year in a tiny scope, okay? Last year's Joel did not play well. This year's Joel is looking healthier and happier than ever. Guys, he finished a 19-minute preseason game with 14 points, 8 and 7. Now, I understand what you're saying, and I get what you're trying to get at. If you watch the game, you know that he was not playing top echelon players. He did take on the Minnesota Timberwolves, but he did take on their second unit throughout the entire game. No Rudy Gobert, no Julius Randle, no Naz Reid. So Joel Embiid did play, I guess, a bench squad, a group of backups, so he should be looking like a star. If you want Joel Embiid to be the Joel Embiid we know him to be, he should be looking like a star in a setting where it's Sixer starters versus Minnesota backups. But he did everything he's supposed to do, guys. You're not going to knock the guy for doing everything he's supposed to do. You're not going to say, I'm skeptical about if he's ready or not when you ask about how he's doing and when you see how he's doing. Everything you're hearing, everything you're seeing says he's doing extremely well. So what is a successful season for Joel Embiid? Well, it's defying the odds. It's shutting up the naysayers. Because one thing Joel Embiid has that most people and players don't have, he's an MVP, people. He is a true MVP, and there's a few seasons that if you look back and go down history, he was potentially and probably snubbed a few seasons for being the most valuable player those seasons. So, a successful season for Joel Embiid, it's not full of individual accolades. It's not full of all-star appearances. And guys, we're not even going to guarantee a championship to mean Joel Embiid has a successful season. Success for Joel is 65 games or more. Success for Joel would be breaking the record, would be playing the most amount of games he's ever played in his career in one season, one regular season, 65 games or more, and appearing in the playoffs healthy. That is the only thing. Those are the only factors to determine what success would be for Joel this season. Because all Sixer fans out there who love him or who hate him have got to question his appearance. The best ability is availability. And for Joel, he struggles to be available on a consistent basis. He can legitimately go down as this team's Dirk Nowitzki, as this team's Kobe Bryant, as this team's Stephen Curry, as the flag post and focal point of a franchise for his entire career. That is who Joel Embiid could be for this championship team if not only does his damnedest to bring a championship to the squad, but if he's healthy when those championship conversations are coming around. If Joel Embiid is healthy, you never question how he plays. You never question how great he is. And you never question what you're going to get from him when he's on the court. You're going to get maximum effort. The question is, will he be able, and will his body be able to withstand the Joel Embiid impact of a 65-game season? Because if he's able to play 65 games, guys, he's going to be in conversation for MVP. That is just how he plays, regardless of the new system put in place, regardless of the new pieces that are circling around him. Joel Embiid is going to be Joel Embiid, which is exactly why he had like 8 assists in a 19-minute matchup, because he can adapt to any system. He can play with any players around him, and he's going to be great because that's exactly what he is. One of the most dominant players in NBA history. The problem that you're going to have with Joel Embiid this season are those starting lineups. Because you expect Joel in those starting lineups. You expect Tyrese Maxey in those starting lineups. But with Paul George health, and he's still sitting on the shelf, you're not sure who's going to be filling out this starting lineup consistently throughout this season, because you're only looking for 65 games from Joel. At least 17 games, you're going to have a different starting lineup. Paul George, I guess you're going to hope for the same marker, 65 games. And Jared McCain, fingers crossed you get 65 games. But who are going to be the starters for this team, and what are going to be the starting lineups around Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey? Well, at least, guys, for starters or for the season opener, This is what we should be looking at, guys. A starting lineup of Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, who Nick Nurse says he's leaning and treading towards letting VJ get the start opening night against the Boston Celtics. Kelly Oubre, Adem Bona. And here's where it gets interesting with Adem Bona at the power forward position and Joel Embiid at the center position, guys. Them Adem Bona, them Joel Embiid, them combo lineups, they not only potentially and realistically elongate Joel Embiid's career, they give him a chance and a better chance to be healthy in the playoffs because he won't be trying to protect the rim at every shot. He won't be having to rim run on every possession going from end to end. And most importantly, guys, he won't be alone out there like he was before in previous seasons where he was the only reason and the only bright spot offensively and defensively for this Sixer team in the big position. If you put Adem Bona and you put Joel Embiid next to each other in the starting lineup and maybe in some closing lineups, you could potentially have one of the highest defensive ratings in the NBA. Because VJ Edgecombe defensively, he ain't no slouch. Kelly Oubre defensively, he ain't no slouch. And Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid, you know they compete in and out on every end of the floor and every end of the court. So, gotta love Joel. Gotta love his ability not only to be a shooter, a scorer, a defensive juggernaut, guys, but one thing we saw from Joel in this preseason game, when he had 8 assists, Joel can pass, people. Joel can pass. And when you ask Joel about his passing ability, of course you're going to get Troll back into his prime form, just trolling the media. But his answer when speaking on how great of a passer he truly believes he is and how great of a passer he really is, I see all these guys. I'm here to help out. According to a lot of your peers, I'm not even a top 100 basketball player in this league. So I guess I just got to fit in and see where I can help the team win. Obviously, Joel Embiid is back, people, and he's just trolling the media. But a successful season for Joel Embiid is exactly that. Joel being back, the smiles being back, the jokes being back, and Joel being able to play a few back-to-backs this season. That's how you know a successful season's on the way, because he's already got his smile back. He's already got his sarcasm that you know, that you love, that makes him great. Because if he wasn't sarcastic, if he wasn't relentless out there, he wouldn't be Joel Embiid, guys. He just wouldn't be Joel Embiid. So successful season's on the way. Some starting lineups. You got to wonder what the starting lineups are going to be because opening night, there has been rumors that Paul George could be making a return. Paul George has been participating in 5-on-5 practice. He participated as a full participant in practice recently, so he's gearing towards a return. But Nick Nurse wants everyone to pump the brakes because he's just not there yet. When speaking on Paul George's health and a potential return early on to the season, I think Paul George made progress in each of the last 3 sessions. Again, it's the first practice that he's been all the way through. So last practice was the first time he'd ever played 5-on-5. So again, we're happy to see him out there. We just keep making progressions. And as Paul George progresses, you can assume not only will he be into this starting lineup, he's going to be a focal point in this starting lineup. And Nick Nurse knows that what we had last season, a Paul George that rushed back, a Paul George that he said truly never was able to get himself healthy, he's not interested in rushing Paul George back to get what he was last season. Even if Paul George would and could be cleared to play on opening night, which realistically, guys, it seems like Paul George is healthy enough to play on opening night, but he just may not be 100% to feel like himself, to go out there and be himself. And efficiency is what you need from Paul George. If he's not healthy enough and not comfortable enough with the reps enough to be efficient and consistent, you don't need to throw him out there because as great as he is and as special of a talent as he is, without a real training camp and without a real chance to get acclimated with the new system and the team that's put in place, you can't expect Paul George to play great. So I love the answers that Nick Nurse is giving. He's making progress. We're going to see him out there sooner than later, but he's making progress. Realistically, Nick Nurse is saying, we're going to make sure he's 100% before we throw out an 85% Paul George and watch his health and his efficiency, confidence deteriorate. Gotta love it, guys. Gotta love it, guys. And one thing all Sixer fans are loving, Bob Myers is in the building. Bob Myers took a presidential role with Harris Blitz Company to basically be the president and oversee all of Josh Harris's teams. So that's NHL, that's NFL, and that's definitely the NBA. So Bob Myers will potentially be in the ear and a silent whisperer to Daryl Morey saying, Daryl, don't do it. Daryl, don't do it. Bob Myers being part of this team, guys, there's ups and there's downs about this. You got to understand that Bob Myers being part of this team, if this team doesn't start the season off hot, if this team doesn't start the season off with real championship beliefs and real championship hopes, you best believe this team is probably going to tank because Bob Myers was one of those pieces, part of the James Wiseman acquisition. Bob Myers was one of those pieces, part of the Golden State greats tanking when they weren't great. So Bob Myers is not afraid of a rebuild. Bob Myers is not afraid of a reconstruction. But Bob Myers also is not the person who was put in place to draft VJ Edgecombe, Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, Jared McCain. So when a new face or a new focal point comes into the front office, you really got to wonder what moves they are honing to make. What moves are they looking to make? Because again, Jared McCain may not be his guy. Maxey may not be his guy. He may have a disposition to despise Joel Embiid and Paul George or VJ Edgecombe. Moves can be made, and they're always made from the top down. Seeing that Bob Myers is sitting above Daryl Morey, that gives a lot of uncertainty to a lot of players on this roster. Maybe EG's got to go. I don't think Bob Myers is the guy who's looking for EG to get a roster spot just to take one up. Maybe Kyle Lowry's got to go. You never know what's going to happen when a new front office face steps into the building, but you can assume based off of his pedigree and based off his championship identity, Bob Myers is going to try to bring winning back to Philadelphia. Bob Myers is going to prioritize winning in Philadelphia. And if this team isn't winning, Bob Myers is going to shift and pivot to a rebuild as fast and as quick as possible. Because the Sixers have draft assets. The Sixers have draft picks, and they also have tradable pieces. So Bob Myers potentially constructing a rebuild, that concerns me because Bob Myers has not been the best rebuildable general manager. James Wiseman, not a great pick. So we're going to see how it works. We're going to see what happens. I like the move, though, because Bob Myers is a winner. Historically, he knows how to win. Historically, he's been better at winning than what you would say and could say Daryl Morey has done. Daryl Morey has been in winning conversation, but Daryl Morey's never got the job done. You finally got a closer. You finally got someone who's won championships, who knows what it takes. And that's what Bob Myers is hopefully going to bring, not only the culture and the attitude, but the expertise. And, guys, I'm expecting you guys to like, to comment, and subscribe, guys. Leave a comment or two. Leave one or a few. We read all of your comments, guys, and those comments have been crazy. We've got your back with more conversation daily tomorrow.